Hey guys, welcome to the Max Invest YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling the full story of Time Wonderland. Now, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and Twitter posts which only cover part of the story. This is why I want to make one comprehensive video summarizing everything that's happened up to this current date. The date of recording this video is February the 3rd, and I will be posting it on the same day, so there could be some updates that happen after this video. If you enjoy the video, I will probably make a second video covering these updates if they do occur. Anyway, if you liked the video today, remember to like and subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord channel, and remember, nothing in this video is financial advice. So let's get into the full story of Time Wonderland, starting by talking about Daniele Sesta, the founder of Wonderland. Danny is the founder of Wonderland, and he's been in the blockchain industry for a very long time. In fact, he first bought Bitcoin back in 2011. However, Danny founded his first project in 2018 called Zulu Republic. Of course, this project, like many other people's first projects, was not very successful. This quickly changed for Danny, and he started founding a lot of successful projects. The first big one that comes to mind is Abracadabra Money. This is basically a MakerDAO fork on the Ethereum network that does a lot of new and revolutionary things on the platform, and I really do like using Abracadabra. He's also founded Popsicle Finance, which is a multi-chain yield optimization platform, and Danny is even a part of SushiSwap, coming onto SushiSwap to make it the best decentralized exchange and help it get some momentum after its former CTO Joseph DeLong left the project. However, none of these even come close to how big his largest project is, which is Time Wonderland. And if you don't know what Time Wonderland is, we're going to go through what exactly it is right now. Now, the first thing to understand about Time Wonderland is that it is a fork of Olympus DAO. Now, a fork of another project essentially means that it is a copy and paste of that project with a few changes implemented. Of course, Time Wonderland has implemented a few changes and it is a little bit different than Olympus DAO. However, the main concept and premise of the project is roughly the same. Essentially, what Olympus DAO aims to do is it aims to be a decentralized reserve currency. And what it aims to have a treasury that's backing the value of Olympus DAO and helping it appreciate in value over the long term. The way that the Olympus protocol actually grows its treasury is it offers users a discounted version of their OHM token for reserve assets. So the Olympus DAO protocol actually buys liquidity from its users, and this means that Olympus DAO can actually own its own liquidity and do what it wants with that liquidity. Of course, this solves the problem of liquidity mining, where you get a bunch of mercenary farmers come in, get all of the yield, and then leave the protocol. Instead, Olympus DAO is planning on owning its own liquidity, and Time Wonderland does a very similar thing. Of course, this means that when Olympus DAO is trading at a higher value than its treasury, it's going to continue to issue more tokens and build its treasury further, and when it's trading at a lower value than its treasury, the treasury is going to be used to actually buy up some OHM tokens. Of course, this actually allows Olympus DAO to consider themselves a decentralized reserve currency. Time Wonderland has a very similar mission, and it is a fork of Olympus DAO, so it works in a similar way. However, Time Wonderland has a few different tokens. Of course, there is the main token, which is called the Time token. However, if you decide to stake your time, you get a new token called Memo. One memo is always equal to one time. Then, if you decide to wrap up this memo to actually use it in different places, it's going to be equal to a different amount, and I do think one wrapped memo is about 22 times the value of time at the time of recording this video. So that's basically how Olympus DAO and Time Wonderland work. However, one key difference between Olympus DAO and Time Wonderland is the community behind Wonderland. In this video, we're specifically talking about Danny, Wonderland, and the community. Danny managed to build up an absolutely amazing community. He built up a frog army, and this was composed of thousands and even tens of thousands of people on Twitter who changed their profile pictures to frogs, and they really were supporting Danny. Danny built this army on the back of an anti-VC movement. What Danny said is he said that he wanted to work for everyone else. He wanted to make the frogs money and he wanted to give them a similar opportunity as to what VCs get. Danny ensured that all of his projects were not VC backed and he really tried to give everyone an equal opportunity. As we can see in this tweet here, Danny says GM to all the unprivileged, the outsiders, the not worthy, the not wealthy enough, the 12-hour everyday workers, the night shifters, I work for you. So we can see that Danny is really trying to appeal to a populist narrative and get a lot of people on his side. In my opinion, this is a little bit of a red flag, and when I see extremely wealthy people trying to appeal to a populist narrative, I am a bit skeptical. Of course, Danny got very famous on Twitter, and he was able to ratio pretty much everyone that he tried to, which is usually a good gauge of the sentiment around this individual. Of course, what then occurred is Wonderland started going up in value significantly. The Frog Army loved Wonderland, everyone was buying it, and it went from $500 to $10,000 in a very, very short period of time. That was until Wonderland crashed, and as we can see, Wonderland crashed from around $10,000 all the way down to $250, which is an absolutely insane crash, and this crash represents Wonderland going below its reserve backing. So what happened here and what went so wrong? Of course, the first thing that happened here was a market correction occurred. Now, the next thing that happened is a lot of people accused Time Wonderland of Ponzi-nomics, and they really didn't like all of the Olympus DAO forks. Of course, I do think there's some truth to this, however, I don't think they are pure Ponzi schemes. Regardless, this isn't the reason that Time fell so much. As we already know, whenever Time falls below the treasury backing, the treasury assets are meant to be used to buy back more Time. Of course, what this does is it pushes Time's price back up and ensures that it is a stable cryptocurrency reserve asset. However, when Time fell below its reserve backing, it was not being bought back. The reason given was that Danny was asleep. This makes it look a lot more like centralized finance than decentralized finance, and this is an absolutely absurd excuse that was given. Of course, if Time is only going to be bought back when Danny decides it will be bought back, this doesn't look like a decentralized autonomous organization anymore, and it looks like a dictatorship. Of course, this allowed Time to easily crash below its reserve backing price, and it's been below this price for a very long time. The buybacks haven't been operational, and the buybacks haven't been working as planned. As we can see, one W memo is worth $22,000. However, the backing per W memo is $37,000, and the treasury is not being used to buy this back and put it back to the backing price. Now, the next thing that happened is a series of accusations and dodgy information started coming out about Danny. Essentially, the first thing that we can see is what Danny may have done is he may have put his W memo up as collateral, borrowed against this W memo in MIM, sold this MIM for USDT, sent the USDT to Bitfinex, and then he got liquidated. Of course, what this means is it means that Danny never actually has to sell his Time position. All he's doing is borrowing money against his Time position, keeping that money, and then getting his collateral liquidated. This is basically a way to sell without actually selling. Of course, Danny has denied these allegations, however, you can check them out for yourself on-chain. Now, the next thing that occurred is Danny actually made a proposal, and this proposal was to essentially wind down Wonderland and give the treasury back to its holders. As we can see, 55% of individuals did not want Wonderland to wind down, and in a normal decentralized autonomous organization, the vote would stick and this is what would happen. However, Danny had different ideas. As we can see on Discord, Danny said this DAO is going to be managed now by me directly. The circus needs to stop and we need to gather with serious proposals and structure to move forward. This led a lot of people to actually say, well, it's not a decentralized autonomous organization anymore. In fact, it's more like Danielle's autonomous organization, and you can't really claim that it's a DAO or DeFi if one person is managing it. Moreover, Danny then followed up and he said Wonderland experiment is coming to an end. It's clear from the vote that the community is divided. The core and heart of all Wonderland is still the community. If we cannot find agreement on whether to continue or not, it means that we failed. So Danny essentially went against the vote and he said that he's going to wind it down anyway. Now, currently Danny may have gone back on this and there has been some conflicting messages on Twitter. This decision definitely isn't final and it's unsure as to whether Wonderland is going to be winding down or not. Danny has, however, made a range of proposals which haven't been met with that much enthusiasm. The first proposal is turning Wonderland into a special purpose acquisition company whereby they would use the treasury to invest in other cryptocurrency businesses. The second suggestion was to merge Wonderland with Abracadabra, however the community didn't like either of these suggestions, and it is quite unclear what is going to happen into the near future. Will Wonderland wind down or will it not? I'm honestly unsure. One of the issues if Wonderland decides to wind down is they will need to liquidate the treasury. Now, within the treasury, Wonderland holds a stablecoin called Magic Internet Money. Currently, there's only $56 million worth of MIM left in the Curve pool, and this means that if Danny goes to liquidate all $300 million of MIM at once, or he gives this $300 million of MIM back to the users and they decide to liquidate, they will not be able to do this. A user pointed this out on Twitter, however Danny just simply responded by saying this is baseless FUD, and from what I can tell it's not baseless FUD and it is an actual concern. Now, if you've been following the Wonderland situation closely, you might realise I've missed out a key detail this entire time. There's one person that I haven't actually talked about who's a key player in Wonderland and time. This individual is called Sifu, and Sifu is probably the most controversial and worst aspect of this project. Sifu was the individual that was working with Danny on Wonderland, and Sifu was actually an anonymous individual that was controlling $1 billion worth of user funds. The majority of the community were okay with Sifu and they were happy with giving off their funds to him. However, some very interesting information came out about Sifu. Zach shared on Twitter that Sifu is actually a well-known criminal. Essentially, Sifu is the co-founder of a cryptocurrency exchange called Quadriga X, and his real name is Michael Patron. If you're unfamiliar with this crypto exchange, it originally collapsed in 2019, and $170 million worth of funds were stolen from this. Danielle knew of Sifu's identity already for about 1 month, however he didn't want to tell anybody. Now, Danny's excuse was that he didn't want to judge Sifu on his past mistakes, and he now realizes that that was a bad idea. However, at the time he thought it would be fine to have Sifu. Regardless, I do think this is very dodgy, and it is a bit of a betrayal to the entirety of the community. Moreover, prior to Quadriga, Michael Patron was actually a well-known financial criminal. He helped run an identity theft ring called Shadow Crew, and he even pled guilty to this. Of course, this is very bad, and the community should probably know about the identity of a man like this when he's in charge of $1 billion worth of funds. As we can see, 87.5% of the community voted to replace Sifu, and this has since been done. However, Sifu has been acting very funnily since this replacement. The first accusation that came out about Sifu is that he stole from the Wonderland treasury and used some of this money to actually collateralize his own loan in order for him not to get liquidated, which he got liquidated anyway. However, Sifu has denied this allegation and he has said it is fake news. Regardless, you can investigate this on-chain for yourself. I just want to give both sides of the story. Now, the next thing that happened, and that Sifu was actually admitted to doing, is that Sifu was sending ETH to Tornado Cash. Essentially, Sifu sent 1,100 ETH to Tornado Cash. If you don't know what Tornado Cash is, it's essentially used for washing funds. Basically, on the Ethereum network, an individual can see every single transaction that's ever been sent, and everything can be easily tracked and traced on the blockchain. However, Tornado Cash is meant to make this a lot harder to do. It's meant to move around funds a lot and actually wash them up, so it makes it very hard to track, and it gives the user privacy. Generally, when you're using Tornado Cash, there's 4 reasons. You are doing something illegal, you have done something illegal, both of the above, and that's about it. Of course, Sifu has just said he's been using a mixer for privacy, so he has admitted to using Tornado Cash. However, I do find this very ridiculous, because if Sifu wanted to wash funds legally, he could send them back to a centralized exchange and then send them back to his wallet. He has chosen to use Tornado Cash, and he's chosen to use it at the most controversial time possible when everyone is watching his wallet. Of course, this does look unbelievably dodgy. I'm not accusing Sifu of doing anything, I am just saying that he is using Tornado Cash. This is objectively verifiable on-chain, and generally when you use Tornado Cash, you're probably doing something dodgy. That brings us to the end of all of the dodgy things that have occurred in Time Wonderland. Now, one of the things that I find very, very surprising about this situation is Danny is still fighting back. As we can see, Danny said that for all the ones that got liquidated under me, I just want you to know that I'm working on a compensation plan with my own personal funds to allow you to raise back again. No treasury involvement. Additionally, I'm sending back my W memo to the treasury to burn. So Danny is basically saying that he wants to work really hard to get everybody their money back. If you're looking for my personal opinion, I don't really believe Danny here. All I think he's trying to do is trying to maintain his reputation and try and bolster it a little bit. I don't think he's being very genuine, and I am very skeptical on him. Of course, when I'm looking at Twitter and looking at the Twitter sentiment, I think roughly half of the frogs have left Danny and don't like him anymore, while half of the frogs are sticking with him. I am unbelievably surprised at the amount of community support that Danny continues to get. If you had invested in Time Wonderland, you would be down roughly 95% plus on your money, and it looks like you're never going to get this money back. He promises to get you your money back, but I do find it quite unbelievable that heaps of people are believing Danny here, especially when there's so many people that invested in this project and billions upon billions of dollars were actually lost. Of course, this is about where I want to end the video. The situation hasn't actually concluded just yet. We don't know what's going to happen with Wonderland, we don't know what's going to happen with the DAO, we don't know what's going to happen with the Frog Army, and we don't really know what's going to happen with Sifu. Sifu has continued to post things on Twitter, and not that many people have been fighting back against him, and I'm not sure if he actually will be arrested or if anything will happen to him. So, if we see some of these developments happen and a lot of you guys like this video, I probably will make a part 2. Let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see when the developments actually come out. Anyway, this brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We're going for 1,100 subscribers, and thanks for watching the video.